Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's the first Friday of the new year, and I've got a fun guest I'm going to be talking to, Jason Edwards. This is going to be his year. He's got a book called Jason's Imagination, and it's a real fun story about where this book came from and how this book came together. And the thing that's cool is, think about how many people listening right now probably have an idea for a book and they've just never done anything with it. Well, Jason had an idea for a book, and he finally did something with it, and I'm super excited to chat with him. Jason Edwards, Jason's Imagination. It's a kid's book, and it looks like it's a lot of fun, so I'm going to be chatting with him. You ready for a quote for today?
Always ready for a quote.
This one is for Friday, January the 5th. It says, "You take your life in your own hands, and what happens? A terrible thing. No one is to blame." Erica Jong. So she's saying, she's saying, if something bad happens, it's your fault. So there you go. I'm not exactly sure what that means. What a positive quote to start things off. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Many people make New Year's resolutions this month. If you're making a resolution to kick some sort of addiction to the curb, I'm proud of you. It's not easy, but you can do this. Think of how great 2018 can be without the addiction monkey on your back. You can do this, and the Addiction Hope and Helpline wants to help. If you or someone you know needs help kicking a drinking problem or a drug addiction problem, there's a toll-free number to call, 800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380. Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday. It is January the 5th, and that means today is National Bird Day.
I like birds.
So let's sing the song. We all know it. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, my gosh.
Didn't I say the same thing last year? Happy
Probably.
birthday to you.
Such a dork.
It's the only thing, though. Happy birthday, dear Heidi. I wish there was other stuff to talk about so I wouldn't have to sing this stupid song. I think we should all get out and say happy birthday. I think this is a really weird time to have happy bird day, because why not do it in the summer when all the birds are out chirping and singing and loving life?
Maybe people are happy that the birds aren't around because they're not pooping on their cars. So this is a good day to celebrate Bird Day.
National Bird Day on this Friday, the 5th day of January.
John and Heidi.
Jewelry. It's a great way to say I love you. Valentine's Day is next month already. Don't wait until the last day, then rush into getting something that'll get you by for another year. Make this the year that you plan ahead and get something amazing. I know, you're on a budget. That's cool. We have a friend in the jewelry business. He's already lower than any other jeweler I've found, and he's letting us do a special this month to save you even more. I have the details and a link to his store at radiosavings.com. Get her the jewelry she deserves at a price you can afford. Check it out at radiosavings.com. Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs, but first, California is a legal marijuana state now, and Mike Tyson wants in on the profits. The boxing legend just broke ground on a 40-acre marijuana resort. Guess what it's going to be called?
I have no idea.
Tyson Ranch.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, it's really...
Way to think outside the box there.
It's a ranch that's owned by Mike Tyson. It's called Tyson Ranch. Really? Mike, come on. You couldn't have come up with Mike's Marijuana Ranch? I mean, I thought of that in half a second. There's a lot of other things you could have called it other than Tyson Ranch, but that's cool. I'm not going to go. It's not my cup of tea. But we do have your brain on drugs to get to, and that is on the way.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. Nicole Hunter, age 25, tried to snort some cocaine while waiting to be booked at a police station. Yeah. She's sitting there waiting to be booked, you know, when they do the thumbprints and the fingerprints and the photograph and all that fun stuff. Not that I've ever done that, but they call it being processed. So she's being processed for causing a disturbance on Christmas Day. Hunter took some cocaine from her pocket and attempted to snort it while inside the Connecticut Police Department. a police department in Connecticut. It's in a town called Ledyard. Anyway, police spotted her and seized the evidence. She was charged with narcotics possession, disorderly conduct, and interfering with a police officer. So there you go. That was all on Christmas Day.
That's a busy day.
Merry Christmas to you. Nicole Hunter, age 25. I hope you make better decisions in 2018. That would be good. I've got a link to that story on our Facebook page and on our, what's the other thing called? Instagram. I got to get used to the fact that we're on Instagram. We've been on there for like 9 months. I didn't even know it. So,
why are we on there?
Facebook they own it and they just opened an account for us. So it's Instagram.com/John and Heidi Show.
Okay.
And it's probably the most exciting page ever because I didn't even know we had it till recently. So I'm trying to share stuff there. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, a report in the Daily Caller accuses MSNBC's host, Chris Matthews, of running, quote, an abusive workplace environment, end quote, where women suffered from, again, quote, battered wife syndrome, end quote. So that was Chris Matthews. I don't think he works there anymore, does he?
I am not surprised by that at all. Are you?
No, not really.
He seems like a big freaking bully.
Here's the thing that's really sad. There are a lot of people who, in the last 20 years or so, we've put these people on a pedestal, and now they're getting knocked off the pedestal.
I haven't put him on a pedestal.
But I'm just saying we shouldn't have put them on a pedestal in the first place, but I just think it's sad. Here's one. This guy maybe has a foolproof way on how not to get accused of sexual harassment. Celebrity trainer, so he trains celebrities, Harry Hansen, announced he's now offering naked workout sessions at his New York City gym. What?
Yeah, that's a really bad idea.
So he's like, okay, it's called naked workout sessions. I mean, whatever happens, happens. So
that's a really bad idea.
It's a bad plan. And it's for celebrities. I mean, have you not been paying attention to the news at all? Come on, Harry. This has been Big Screen, Little Screen.
John and Heidi.
Make 2018 the year for your business. Use radio to get more people to know your business. Radio is a powerful tool. Over 90% of us listen to the radio every week. You are right now. Imagine if this ad was talking about your business. Could that help you hit those goals you set for 2018? We can help. We can also create a fun jingle, too, to get people singing your song. When you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable, and that makes radio work even better. Learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day. Amazon says their Prime members they had Prime members that had things shipped to them, over 5 billion items using the service in 2017, 1 year alone. 5 billion items. That's a lot of stuff, man.
That is a lot of stuff.
We're not Prime members. I did talk to somebody from Amazon about that. We did a little radio interview about it, and it sounds like a fascinating thing, but I'm a shop local guy. It's tough for me. I mean, it's really tough for me. Even when they wanted to do the interview, I was like, oh, they're doing some good things. They're helping some good causes because they were doing that Prime Caravan, whatever it was. I was like, yeah, we'll talk to them. But I'm like, man, it's tough for me because I'm a shop local guy. So it's just really tough for me. Anyway, Atlanta, Georgia, a man there reported that somebody stole some guitars from his home one night. He told police that, well, I leave the back door unlocked because I lost the key, and somebody came in my back door, and they stole 3 guitars and a chicken pot pie.
That would be all you would notice is the chicken pot pie.
Who's stealing chicken pot pie? They're like 89 cents. I mean, why would you steal that?
That would be you, though. I mean, that's something you would take. You love them.
I don't know why. I got a hankering for one right now that we're talking about it. I mean, they're delicious. It is just like the perfect combination of delicious goodness all put together in a flaky pastry crust. I mean,
you're so bizarre.
Doesn't get much better, especially if it's a good one. Even a bad chicken pot pie is still pretty darn good. A survey by Jack's Pacific found that, this is the dumbest thing, poop toys for children. You know what that is? It's a toy that's shaped like the little...
Yeah, I've seen them. They've got slippers and they've got...
What? What happened
emoji
in 2017?
things.
It's the little emoji pile of stuff that has seen a surge in popularity, and now they're being sold in real stores like Walmarts and Targets. You'd think that would be like a, dark web, back of the internet only thing, but it's become
they're everywhere.
Commonplace.
I wouldn't want anything like that.
People want to walk around with a pile of poo on their shirt or on their shoes or their hat. I don't understand that. Who would want that? But it's
a lot of people.
Yeah, it's popular.
It's mostly kids.
But why kids?
They think it's funny.
Why
it's
do
like
you want
fart
that?
noises? It's
yeah,
funny.
I don't know. Maybe we need to change the way we do this program. We need to invite
Use more sound effects, fart sounds.
No, we really don't.
Burping.
I think I'm going to just leave it the way it is. Hey, California police have arrested a high school soccer coach who was pimping out teenage girls. That was really happening in California. I cannot believe that. A lottery glitch in South Carolina last week sold $19 million worth of winning tickets on Christmas Day, and the state claims they're all invalid. So they're saying, no, we're going to... So they sold $19 million worth of winning tickets in everybody on Christmas Day. So it was like, Merry Christmas to us. And the state is saying, no, we're gonna redo that. So I got a feeling there's going to be a lawsuit there.
Oh, yeah.
Not exactly sure how that works, but there you go. It reminds me of the movie Bruce Almighty, because it was where Jim Carrey was God.
Everybody won the lottery, and
they reported that there were
only like 15 cents or
like
something.
7 million people that all got the same numbers. Hey, Kim Jong-un rang in the new year by warning the U.S. that he has a nuclear button on his desk and it's ready to go. And there are people that are laughing because our president retweeted and said, "We have one too.
Heck of a response.
We have one too, and ours actually works." So there are people that are freaking out because he said that. Here's the thing: this whole story. I mean, Kim Jong-un saying, "Hey, America, I have nukes pointed at you, and they're ready to go at any minute." That's kind of scary. That is really scary. And what kind of response do you possibly have for that? I mean, I wouldn't want to be the one. And Pope Francis is in the news. He says, according to this story, he's urging his churchgoers to get rid of useless baggage in 2018. So after the program, we have to have a talk, Heidi. So,
wow,
I'm just kidding. You're not. You're like the most important thing on this program.
Wow.
All right,
I have a few choice words for you in 2018 as well.
I'm gonna go apologize for a while. I was kidding, and I hope you know I was kidding. I hope everybody knows I was kidding. I love my wife dearly. So there you go. We've got some fun stuff to get to, and hopefully I'm going to get out of the doghouse. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Last year, we went to 80s in the Sand in Punta Cana, and it was the best week ever. You should join us this year for amazing music from Bret Michaels, Taylor Dane, ABC, John Waite, Sebastian Bach, English Beat, The Romantics, Honeymoon Suite, John Parr, and more. Plus, backed by popular request, Jody Watley, Berlin, and When in Rome, UK. Most of us who went last year are going to come back, so the rooms are filling fast. Get your tickets and join us at 80s in the Sand, November 3rd through the 10th, 2018. See photos of our great memories and learn about payment plans at radiosavings.com. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us, Jason Edwards. He is the author of a brand new debut children's book. It's his first book. It's called Jason's Imagination, The Rain King. Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, John. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. 2018 is going to be a big year for you, isn't it?
I'm sure hoping so, but I really am. It's been an exciting adventure. I've got no words on where this thing's been taking me so far, man.
Now, how in the world did this all come together? Because this is your first book, so I love to ask people what led up to this point so far.
Well, kind of started off pretty good. I was climbing towers. I was working in the telecommunication industry, working on some of the top tier carriers that we all use for our cell phones. And
nice.
I was sitting in the truck one day with a coworker of mine who's been a friend of mine for a while, and they had brought out this massive crane to move a house for these cabinets that couldn't be but 6 foot by 4 foot. I mean, it was just more crane than what we needed.
Yeah.
Well, I happened to look at him, and I was just being goofy and silly and being me. And I looked at him, I go, Nathan, I don't know what I'll do with it, but I want one. And he looked at me with this conviction in his eyes, man, and just confusion at the same time. He goes, dude, lift stuff. And I wrote a whole story around that. In fact, it was the first story I'd written, which has not been published yet, but I just started jotting these ideas down on where that little line went, and I created Operation Crane, which I'm still working on. But I don't know, 4 years ago, someone just gave me the idea of, hey, you know what? Put your ideas down on paper, publish it, see what happens, and I did.
Well, that's really cool. And the very first one, Jason's Imagination, The Rain King, is out right now, so folks can get a chance to climb inside of your mind and see your imagination at work. Now, will the rest of the book series be called Jason's Imagination and then, like The Crane or whatever as well?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Yeah, the whole series itself is just going to focus around little Jason, which, essentially is me. I'm kind of taking some of my childhood, taking more of my imagination, when as a child, and just creating a whole series, and then each book will be titled in its own thing. Like the next one coming up is going to be called The Movie Machine. I won't give any hints on what that's about just yet, but yeah, I'm going to just kind of separate each one. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to tie them all together in a way. I'm still kind of working that out to maybe in the second book somehow reference in a sentence or two the first book to kind of give a flow feel to it, but yeah, each book's just going to have its own little title and its own little adventure. That's
really cool. Again, our guest today, Jason Edwards, first-time author, and this is also his first interview. I got to tell you, Jason, you're doing a great job, so you're natural.
Thank you very much.
And I think it's cool that you were climbing towers and doing that and then had this idea and you actually ran with it. So let's take a second right now and talk to the other people out there that have these ideas. Here's one of my things. It amazes me how many people die with their ideas stuck inside of them. They never, ever did anything. So I'm so proud of you for taking this concept and doing something with it, because I don't want anyone to die with their idea, whether it's a idea for a book, if it's a song. There are people who die with their song still inside of them. Or if it's a business idea. I mean, people do something with these. God gave you that idea for a reason. So I'm so glad, Jason, that you have done something with that. I just got to tell you, I'm really proud of you, man.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. I'm with you. That's kind of, in a way, what this whole series is about, is not just my imagination, but the fact that I was able to overcome adversity and fear and anxieties and insecurities through imagination. I agree with you 100%, John, that if you have those ideas, don't be afraid to take a chance on yourself. I mean, if you go through and you even reach one reader or one listener or just one person, or you change someone's life, just one person, that's a success. I mean, if we all like to, be on the top tier and be, the 1% or make a good income, and that'd be our life's work. But as long as you just reach one person in one way or another, man, that's a success for me.
Absolutely. Again, Jason Edwards is our guest. I've got a link to his book to make it really, really, really easy to find. And like I said, this can be a big year for Jason. Folks, make it a big year for you as well. Don't go another year without doing that thing that you've always wanted to do, that thing that's burning, a little burning desire in your heart. Make sure you do something with it this year. It feels good, doesn't it, Jason?
Yes, it does. I have no words to how this adventure's been for me. I've done music. I've been in creative arts a good portion of my entire life, and this was called to me at one point while I was on that job site. There's something said, this is what you need to do. This is what you're going to do for the rest of your life, and yeah, put it together and just make it happen. And I'm going for broke, to be honest with you. This is what I do every single day. I do nothing else.
Well, we're so excited. Now, here's the thing I want you to make sure you remember. Your first interview was on the John and Heidi Show, and when you have success after success after success, please continue to keep us involved as well. We'd love to talk to you every time you have a book come out. How's that sound?
I'm down, absolutely. Let's make it happen.
Very cool. We're going to have a link to his book to make it easy to find at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. If you head there right now, you'll be able to find it. Jason, thank you again, sir.
Thank you, John, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Awesome. Again, Jason Edwards. The book is called Jason's Imagination, The Rain King, and it's available right now. We've got a link to it at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Many people make New Year's resolutions this month. If you're making a resolution to kick some sort of addiction to the curb, I'm proud of you. It's not easy, but you can do this. Think of how great 2018 can be without the addiction monkey on your back. You can do this, and the Addiction Hope and Helpline wants to help. If you or someone you know needs help kicking a drinking problem or a drug addiction problem, there's a toll-free number to call, 800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Humble Oreo, more than likely, accidentally by the way, is vegan. It contains 0 dairy products, And it's due to preservation reasons because they wanted to be able to put it on a shelf and leave it sit there for however long. And production costs wanted to keep those low. So they accidentally became a vegan product at Oreo. So there you go. And we already read a story, but it's not on this list right now. But Oreo actually copied a different company, Hydrox. And Heidi had never seen a Hydrox cookie before. So there you go.
That delicious filling in the middle is pretty much just Crisco.
It's not good for you.
No.
It's not a health food. For those of you doing a diet right now. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Russia's area is larger than the total surface area of Pluto. The country has the largest area on Earth for any country, measures at 17,098,322 square kilometers. And Pluto, by comparison, is only 16,647,940. So Russia has more surface area than the whole planet of Pluto. And I know somebody's going to say, oh, Pluto's no longer a planet. It's always a planet to me. It will always be a planet to me. Pluto, you've always got a place in my heart. You're always my final planet. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Last year, we went to 80s in the Sand in Punta Cana, and it was the best week ever. You should join us this year for amazing music from Bret Michaels, Taylor Dane, ABC, John Waite, Sebastian Bach, English Beat, The Romantics, Honeymoon Suite, John Parr, and more. Plus, backed by popular request, Jody Watley, Berlin, and When in Rome, UK. Most of us who went last year are going to come back, so the rooms are filling fast. Get your tickets and join us at 80s in the Sand, November 3rd through the 10th, 2018. See photos of our great memories and learn about payment plans at radiosavings.com. It's time now for the grandiloquent word of the day, and it's a good one today, Heidi. It's qualtagh. Qualtagh. Qualtagh.
Okay.
That's a fun word to say.
Yeah, it is.
Why don't you say it?
Qualtagh?
Yeah. It's a noun. The first person to enter a house on New Year's Day, known as the first foot. So, like, we should have done this on New Year's Day, probably. The first person that you bump into when you leave the home any day is also a qualtagh. So, like, if you leave your house and you bump into the mailman on the way out the door, that's your qualtagh.
Huh.
So first person one meets after leaving home, especially on a special occasion. So like if it's a holiday, that's even more important. And the one that it's, officially for is New Year's Day. So the first person you see in the new year, hopefully you've already seen somebody by now. If not, what are you doing, man?
Well, that's interesting.
So it's your qualtagh. There you go. Qualtaghh. No, they have it down here how to pronounce it. 'Cause they have you
were way off.
You think I linguistically figure these things out on my own? No. Grandiloquent Word of the Day takes care of me. We've got a link to that on our Facebook page. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Jewelry. It's a great way to say I love you. Valentine's Day is next month already. Don't wait until the last day, then rush into getting something that'll get you by for another year. Make this the year that you plan ahead and get something amazing. I know, you're on a budget. That's cool. We have a friend in the jewelry business. He's already lower than any other jeweler I've found, and he's letting us do a special this month to save you even more. I have the details and a link to his store at radiosavings.com. Get her the jewelry she deserves at a price you can afford. Check it out at radiosavings.com. Now, some weird news on a Friday. There's a new report that says about 6,600 pounds of silver and 95 pounds of gold end up down the drain in Switzerland every year. That's about $1.8 million. And as strange as it sounds, researchers at the Swiss Federal Institute of Aquatic Sciences and Technology, that's a thing, it's a long name, they say it comes from their gold refineries and their watchmaking industry. Now, if you're thinking that, hey, I'm going to put on a hazmat suit, go digging for smelly treasures, you might want to reconsider. Researchers determined that not only do the trace amounts of precious metals pose no real danger to the environment, it would not be worth the cost of collecting them. So they're saying that even though it's $1.8 million collectively, there's no way you would get it all anyway.
Well, no, there's no way. You'd have to sift through all that.
It's like a fine little powder, but it's like when they're engraving gold.
Right.
It's the little dust that comes off, and then that gets washed down the drains. So you'd think they'd come up with a way to catch that, like in the drain. Maybe a coffee filter. I don't know. Have to reach out to the folks in Switzerland and see if I can fix that for them. A little bit of weird news for you right there on a Friday. Now your moment of duh. We're going to head to Detroit, where an area criminal there known as Champagne Torino made an interesting post last year on the Redford Township Police Department Facebook page. He promised to turn himself in if 1,000 Facebook people would share the post. Guess what happened, Heidi?
What happened?
Well, as a result of that, several warrants were against him, by the way. He's been wanted for quite a while, and he posted this for whatever reason on their page. Anyway, he is a very competitive guy and said, hey, if I get 1,000 people to share this, I'm going to turn myself in.
I'm almost positive that we talked about this.
Did we talk about it?
I think so.
Okay, I didn't think we did. It was from last year. I've been saving the story. I didn't think we had talked about it. Anyway, the department's post got shared 1,000 times.
Of course it did. Who
right
wouldn't
away?
Share it? Yeah.
And he sweetened the deal, by the way, saying, if you guys, if this happens right away, I'll also bring some donuts and I'll pick up all the litter around town. And the department happily accepted the challenge. They jokingly said the donuts were the key element. Within an hour, more than 1,000 shares. He did turn himself in. I've got a link to the story. I didn't think we already shared that, so there you go. If you want to see it, it's on our Facebook page. Maybe it's on there again. Maybe we did share it. Coming up, we got some good news to get to. Thanks for listening on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
Make 2018 the year for your business. Use radio to get more people to know your business. Radio is a powerful tool. Over 90% of us listen to the radio every week. You are right now. Imagine if this ad was talking about your business. Could that help you hit those goals you set for 2018? We can help. We can also create a fun jingle, too, to get people singing your song. When you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable, and that makes radio work even better. Learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Before we get to the good news, can I share one other thing?
Sure.
All right. A study by the National Institute of Mental Health finds that phobias are now the most common illness, like the psychiatric illness, among women. Women are scared of a lot of stuff, Heidi. Phobias usually realize their fear are unwarranted, but knowing their feelings are not logical rarely sets them at ease. Plus, the smarter you are, the more likely you are to have a phobia. So if you're afraid of something, that means you're probably real smart. And if you're not afraid of stuff, well, I'll talk slow. So far, doctors have diagnosed more than 400 distinct phobias.
Huh.
So there's a lot of them out there. What are you afraid of? If you're not afraid of something, come up with something quick.
I don't know that I am.
I'm not
afraid.
either.
I don't like spiders, but I wouldn't say I'm afraid of
and that's
spiders.
the thing. I'm not afraid of anything, really, which probably explains what they're talking about. But you know, it's not like I enjoy all of those things. It's not like I want to hang out with, you know, I don't want to be
I'm afraid
a
of
part
public speaking. I don't like to do that.
See, and I'm not.
So that is a phobia of mine. I literally am terrified when
I have to
it comes
think of what I'm afraid of. I got to come up with something quick. We've got some good news to get to. It's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and my beautiful bride over here is taking darn good care of me. She makes sure that I always have something to talk about. And here's the headline today. It says, this Grandpa's Christmas was almost ruined until a Walmart employee stepped in just the right amount of time. A voice on the other end of the phone says, Pawpaw, this is your oldest grandson. I'm in trouble. Cecil Rogers of Cincinnati, Ohio, was excited to spend Christmas with his family. However, the Christmas spirit was dampened when he received a troubling phone call from his eldest grandson, or at least somebody who was pretending to be him. The person on the other end said that he was in a car crash and he needed some help, needed some dough. Grandpa, can you send me some money? And the funny thing is, he didn't say his name. He just said, I'm your oldest grandson. Then Grandpa said, oh, is it? And then he's the one that tells him the name. Anyway, he instructed Mr. Rogers, that's the guy's last name is Rogers, to send $2,300 if you could go do a transfer, and that would be for my bail. The so-called lawyer that got on the phone told him, just go to a local Walmart and transfer the money. Concerned for the grandson, he got $2,300, and he went to the Walmart as instructed. Thankfully, Audrella Taylor so happened to be the clerk that was working and helping this transaction happen, and that's when she said, I don't think this is a legit thing. She said, I'm going to refuse the sender. I'm not going to let you send that money. I think you're being scammed. And she absolutely positively was 100% right.
She told him to call his family. Call your grandson.
Have you talked
him.
to him? Do you know for sure that it's him? So she sniffed out a rat, and it was absolutely positively true. If she had not done that, by the way, that $2,300 would have been
it would have been long gone,
and there would have been
lost it.
Pretty much no way for him to get that back. So be very, very careful. My grandmother got a call. Yeah,
your grandma got a call like
somebody
that, saying it was
me.
you.
So they were
that you were arrested in Las Vegas.
Here's the good news. You need to understand. Nobody in my family likes me. So there you go. They're like, good. I'm glad you got arrested. She hung up, and then
about time.
I talked to her at next family gathering. She's like, so how was jail time, you jerk? I'm kidding. That's not how it went down. But my mother did call me, and she said, is everything okay? Grandma just got a call from you.
Grandma's really upset.
It wasn't me. It was not me.
Do not send money.
But to think that I'd be in jail in Las Vegas.
Well, she was like, your mom was like, are you at home? We're like, yeah.
I think it's sad that people scam others. This story is on our Facebook page if you want to see it. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.